suspected the order was based on age. I'm Marco Petruzzi. I'm the CEO of GreenDot Public Schools.
And I'm Douglas Weston. I'm the Director of Development and Communications. And thank you, Amanda. You just made our speech so much shorter by giving out all that information. We can take out all this stuff now. I feel very fortunate, actually, coming on at this point in the evening, having heard from everybody who's gone before us, because really everything that has been said before us are things that we incorporate in our thinking at GreenDot Public Schools. So whether it's here we go, or play big, whether it is no, you don't have the whole perspective, think about what other people can deliver to you, and whether it is this idea of innovation and cooperation together. These are all things that we really incorporate. So I really want to thank all the speakers who've come before us for sort of laying a fantastic groundwork. We have heard a lot since we arrived here in Las Vegas to hear about the downtown project, about return on community, ROC. And it's something that's near and dear to our hearts at GreenDot Public Schools. ROC, this idea really informs everything we do. And you can learn a lot about, well, for those of you who don't know, I think you probably do know now, but we are based in Los Angeles. We are a charter school group that focuses on the turnaround of chronically failing public schools. More about that in a moment. This idea of ROC, you can tell a lot about a community, a city, a nation, a people, by the way they take care of their most vulnerable members. Children in particular are at once vulnerable, full of potential, and they are the inheritors of the future, so they have a great stake in it. Now, through this lens, we could ask ourselves, how are we doing in America? And the answer is a bit of a mixed bag. There are certain places where kids are exposed to incredible learning opportunity and get a great deal of support. And then there are other places where the story is actually a very bleak one.
There are 75 million youth under the age of 18 in the United States, and 30 million of them, 42%, live in low-income families. We always celebrate stories, particularly in Hollywood, of the child that left the projects and made it to Harvard. And it makes us believe that that's the American dream, you know, the story of emerging. But the data tells an incredibly different story. So the biggest correlation to completing college is parental income in this country. The truth is that 9 out of 10 of those 30 million children, for the past 50 years that we have data, 9 out of 10 consistently will either drop out or get a high school degree with truly a 8th, 7th reading, writing, math level. That's the sad truth. And you know, the system, the public school system, is actually not failing. It was designed to do that, right? We built a system in the last 100 years that was designed for a manufacturing and farming society. So we built a system where the top students would emerge. 20, 30% of them would go to college and become the creators of jobs, become the captains of industry, the leaders, and then we needed the rest of the people in manufacturing and in farming. But nowadays, if you want to be an auto mechanic, you actually need to understand computer science. You need to understand electronics. And so we truly come from the point of view that we need to actually believe that we need to turn the system around and create a system that no matter where you come from, what kind of family you're born into, you can actually get to age 18 with an equal opportunity at competing in the game of life.
So 13 years ago, we set out to build school models that could serve all the children in low-income communities where routinely 50 to 75% of children in high schools are dropping out. And we started in Los Angeles because in Los Angeles has 400 of these schools. where routinely 50 to 75% of the children in those schools over the past 30 years have been dropping out. And this is a core definition for many of our inner urban cities across America. So 8 years ago, after 8 years, we had built 8 schools. And we're very proud that actually that just this year, 8 of those schools, all 8 of them were named as amongst the best high schools in America by Newsweek and US School News and World Report. But after 8 years, we were serving 3,000 children in a district that is responsible for 700,000. So we stepped back and we said, wait a second, we could scale this faster. And when we stepped back and took a look at the broader landscape, we realized that 100 schools in California account for 50% of the state's dropouts. If we could turn around those 100 schools, we could catapult California to the top of education outcomes globally. And so we completely redirected the way we were thinking about education.
We started focusing on how do we take our model from startups and actually take on these schools that were chronically failing, where generations and generations in that neighborhood had dropped out. And we locked into Locke High School, which at the time, in 2007, was the worst high school in Los Angeles, and many said in California, and probably one of the worst high schools in America. Locke High School in Watts, which is the lowest income zip code in California, was a 2,400 student school. 1,000 freshmen had come in 2004. 250 graduated 4 years later. 80 only graduated with a high school diploma that allowed them to apply to the California state system. Even worse, 527 African-American students had entered as freshmen, and only 14 had graduated with that diploma. 6 boys and 8 girls. So we're talking about a 3% success rate. Now, what business would stay open with a 3% success rate, right? And yet, when we asked the district to give us a school, the lowest performing school, we got into a pitched battle. We managed to get a petition to get the school, and we were immediately sued. We had to organize the community marches. We eventually took over the school literally as a hostile takeover, and we started running the school. What we're going to show you right now is a video of the graduation 5 years later from this school, and we actually just saw the video for the first time yesterday. So.
Each and every one of us doubt our self-worth. We doubt who we are. We doubt that we can even be successful. There may be times when you doubt yourself. There may be times when you doubt your self-worth. But it's my job to help you understand that you can do it. If you can dream it, if you can imagine it, you can do it. Because we can help you become who you want to be. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. In the past, we've had to overcome a lot of obstacles.
There's a lot of drugs and gangs that surround us, and it trickles into the schools.
The school became a failing school to the degree that the district didn't know what to do with it and couldn't fix it.
We had a pretty vicious combination of teachers who were subpar teaching students that needed the most help. And that recipe became a disaster.
Here's CNN's Ted Rowlands.
Locke High School in Watts, what many call one of the worst schools in the country in one of LA's toughest neighborhoods. For years, Locke has been plagued by violence on campus, incredibly high dropout rates, and extremely low test scores.
I first came here as campus security. Totally amazed, blown away at what I seen.
I saw multiple large-scale fights.
Unbelievable.
My first year teaching, actually, there was a riot at school.
Had not GreenDot come in when they did, I believe, from the bottom of my heart, we was going to lose our kids.
A lot of students were hurt, a lot of students were arrested. It wasn't a nice place to be. The campus wasn't inviting. It was very dirty. There was graffiti everywhere.
It made it very difficult to work here.
Overall, the school was just kind of in disarray.
We had to change this. For some of you, you are the first to graduate high school. And for many others of you, you are the first to go on to college. I know the families here today are incredibly proud of you and all your great accomplishments here at Locke. After World War II, the United States had the #1 high school graduation rate. Today, we dropped to number 22 out of 27 industrialized nations. It is our mission to help more kids become more competitive in the top colleges in the nation. It's not easy to transform a school. You have to get the right people, motivated staff, attendance, uniforms, safety, discipline, the belief that all students can learn.
The GreenDot transformation brought us a fresh new start. Brand new teachers, all going through a GreenDot hiring process.
Locke was a great school to me.
As a principal, I have this great opportunity to help mold these children.
Because we really wanted to go to college and pursue a further education.
Some of my favorite things when I walk onto campus every day, our hallways are pristine. And we have college banners and photos of students. It feels like somebody cares.
It's a small school model. It's a very tight-knit community within the school.
We bond because we live in the same community.
You're gonna see teachers who, as you come on campus, they're excited. They're like in a good mood just to be on campus.
It's amazing to look at some of my students. They'll tell you, I didn't think I was going to graduate, but they are.
Number one, we're always trying to get them into college.
I think some of the things that make the school special are a safer environment,
We have a great school now.
quality of teachers, staff that we have, and the inspiration of students that Locke contains.
Our campus is so small, so you get to meet almost every student.
When I teach my first period class, that student is going to go on to second period and beyond.
That's really good.
It gave me more opportunities.
Yes, we're preparing them for college, but we also are preparing them for their jobs. What are they going to do after school, after college, in the real world?
It works in a good way because it helps them stay on top.
The students use that as a motivation to grow as students and come back and help the community the way that others help them.
I walk around campus every day, and what I notice is kids shaping their future, and that is exciting to me.
GreenDot has done an amazing job cleaning up the campus. They took on a huge monster of a task, and it's 5 years later, and they've done such an amazing job.
We have a lot of work to do still, but we have come so far. Live each day as you have imagined, and I have no doubt that you will leave a trail. One love, one life. Thank you.
So it's a little schmaltzy at the end with the sort of Jerry Bruckheimer ending on the thing. We're not quite there yet. There'll be some tweaks and so forth going on. But what's interesting about that is I think after hearing the national anthem like that, you might be a little confused at wondering why an Italian and an Englishman are talking to you about the American public school system. And I think what you need to understand is that America is a big idea. It's a big and beautiful idea, and it inspires millions, hundreds of millions of people around the world for what it represents, right? And sitting in this room tonight, I feel that inspiration very intensely. My mother is actually a New Yorker. She's from Brooklyn, and she came here as a first-generation immigrant, dirt poor from Eastern Europe. with her family, and they went through the American public school system, the 3 kids, and in one generation went into the middle class. And she used to talk to me as I was being beaten up in British boarding schools, which I don't recommend, about the glories of the American public education system, right, and what the promise that it offered. And so I have always believed that. So I had that recording in my head about this ability of America to offer this opportunity to anyone, no matter where they came from. And so when I got to LA and a friend took me to the inner city and showed me these schools, I truly was shocked at what I saw. This was a complete sort of dysfunction for me with my whole lifetime of image of what was going on. And I could not do something about it. And so when you talk to these kids and learn about them, they are, all of them, extraordinary beings. The great thing that you will know now today is that the graduation rate at Locke is 80% this year. Of those kids, GreenDot is now sending to college a greater number of kids and preparing a greater number of kids as college-ready seniors than both the entire LAUSD and California as a whole. In fact, this year, the 9th school on that list of the highest performing schools in GreenDot, on that list, Newsweek's list of the highest performing schools in the nation, is Locke High School in just 5 years. That's pretty
amazing. And I think what's happening is that I think a lot of the districts are changing a little bit their tune. I think they've seen what we can do. Frankly, in one of the lowest funded states in America, California, one of the we do it with a unionized teacher force. We do it with less money than them, and we managed to do this. And we have right now a lot of states and cities that are inviting us because everybody has this problem, particularly in urban areas. So we have a lot of invitations right now to go and turn around the lowest performing high schools, the lowest 5%, the bottom 5%. And we just got authorized and accepted to go and do 10 turnarounds in Memphis, Tennessee, which is one of the most devastating areas in America in terms of education. We're going to do 10 turnarounds in the next 6 years in Memphis, and we hope to expand to other states as well. So, people always ask us, what's the silver bullet? What is the one? Summarize it in the one big idea. What is it that you do different? And it's really, it's really difficult to. There is no silver bullet, right? Running a good school, we call it. It's 101% solutions. It's showing up every day. And cranking it up just a little bit more. It's actually placing the best teachers that you can find in every period, in every classroom. It's having incredible principals that can actually lead professionals, which is very different than leading people. It's leading professional, distributed leadership. It's about actually building a talent system and a recruiting system that really attracts the best, retains them, grows them, gives them opportunity to grow. It's what good organizations are built on. It's talent management, and it's tough to do, but it's actually inspiring that we're being asked to do this across the nation.
And when we ask our students, what is it that has meant the most to you in school? There are a lot of surprising answers that come up. Some of them we expect, some of them are very surprising. But one is always near the top of the list. And it's a simple phrase. Everybody knows my name. Now, that seems like an obvious thing to us, but that is essentially our idea of return on community. Everybody knows my name means I am being seen, I am being heard, I am being challenged, I am being supported, and everybody knows my name. And so this journey that we are on as GreenDot Public Schools is not about us. It is about the children, and it is about the community, and about making sure that we give back to the community, and the community will continue to feed us and offer us the great honor of being able to educate their children.
So to conclude, we are now serving about 10,000 students. We have actually been allowed to take on what are now previously the 3 bottom performing schools in Los Angeles. We have 19 schools. We hope to grow to 20,000 students in the next 5 to 7 years nationally. And just so you think that this is just schools built for those students. You know, I send my own kids to GreenDot schools. They're in the back, probably not paying attention to that, but they're here. And this is really about building world-class education that actually works for every child in America. So we got a lot to learn still. We got a lot of things to go. There's 60 million children in America, a lot of them underserved. And we hope that we can contribute to their growth and to this country this way. Thank you very much, and I hope you're with us.
Thank you.